like the cool kids do. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel? No. Hide it under a bushel? No. I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel? No. I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel? No. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. So y'all know that I love podcasts. Have I told you that before?
Yes.
I love them. And my three favorites are Amy Poehler's Good Hang, which won an Emmy this year, first time for a podcast. And then Through Line, which is a history podcast. And it's wonderful. It takes something that's happening now and then shows you, how we got there. And then my ultra favorite is Radio Lab, which is science. And it was started by the incomparable Robert Krulwich, the greatest science explainer who ever lived. And now it's hosted by Latif Nasser and Randa Abdel Fattah. I love to say her name. So anyway, or that may be the people that do Through Line. I don't know. I don't have it written down. If I don't have it written down, I can't remember it anymore. So anyway, the radio lab that I listened to this week was called Song of the Cerebellum. Song of the Cerebellum. And I love the brain. I love talking about the brain. I love learning more about the brain. We're starting to find out through scientific research, because of the tools that we have now that we haven't had before, we're starting to find out how the brain actually works. And we are starting to find out how right the New Thought teachers were, just on accident. I mean, there are a lot of things in medicine that way, where people were taking this herb for thousands of years and it cured this and it cured that, and then they finally found out that there's this part of it that we can make into an expensive drug that does the same thing. And we find that out scientifically. And the same thing is going on now with the brain. And the cerebellum, do you know anything about the cerebellum? You do. I bet you do. It's called that because it means little brain. And the cerebellum is a little structure that looks exactly like the whole brain, except it's just a little piece, like a walnut-sized piece, that's right here. And it's got its own covering and everything. And it's wrinkled like the brain, except it's got tiny, tiny, tiny little wrinkles. And for a long time, the doctors thought, and scientific researchers thought, that it was just about movement. It was just about, you know, what do you call it? Locomotor, let's see, sensomotor, and vestibular control.
Okay.
So like, if you had a stroke, there might be some damage to the cerebellum. And they felt like they could just cut parts of it out and it'd be okay. It wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't affect anything necessarily, you know, except for being able to walk and stuff like that. So this guy who was on it, whose name is Jeremy Schmamann. It's Schmamann. Jeremy Schmamann. I love his name. He has found out that not only is the cerebellum not just connected to sensory motor and vestibular control, it also does the same thing. It also coordinates cognition, emotion, and autonomic function, which is everything else besides sensory motor and vestibular. It's everything. So the premise of the thing was this woman who's a science reporter had a stroke while she was, you know, like during the day. She had her vision started blurring, and then she couldn't sing, and then then she couldn't move. And so they said, "Oh, you have something you have a little bleed in your cerebellum, but don't worry, it's not that important. And we'll just cut a piece of it out, and that'll be okay." And what happened was she lost her sense of herself. Like she felt like she was somebody else. And of course she wanted to, you know, find out more because she was a science reporter, so she wanted to find out more about that. And I happen to look up you can, if you want to seem like you're real smart, you can look up scientific papers, and they all have this big, long explanation of what the paper is, an abstract. And it really, you know, this is all I'm interested in about the scientific paper. So you can, you know, you can read all the, you know, the hypotheses and the experimentation and all of that stuff, but you really only need the abstract, I think. And so this guy says that it controls cognition and emotion also. And he said the affective dyscontrol manifests in autism spectrum and psychosis spectrum disorders and disorders of emotional control, attentional control, and social skill set. Nothing much, just every way that you relate to the world.
Right.
So anyway, he's doing that research, and while he was talking about that, he's a really well-spoken person. A lot of scientists, you know, you gotta they have to be heavily edited. But he is really interesting to listen to. And one of the things he said, he was talking to this woman who's trying, what she wants to do more than anything is be able to sing karaoke again. And so it's sort of like a lot of people who've had strokes are trying to be able to walk or be able to speak. You know, they're working really hard on those things. But she's working really, really hard on singing. And she found, she found a choir in New York, of course, that's made up of people who've had strokes.
Wow.
And so they're singing together. And so while this guy's talking about all this stuff about the cerebellum, which is fascinating to me. He says, yeah, you can, one of the things we've found is that the cerebellum has neural pathways to every single part of the brain, every single functional area. And you can create new neural pathways. You can do that. That's called neuroplasticity. Part of my vocabulary now. But you know what makes it work better is the right attitude. You know?
Yeah, I know.
So unity, people who are new to unity, one of the things that has been foundational to our way of seeing God and ourselves and the world and all of that is that we create the world that we live in. And the way we do that is by changing our minds. Paul said that, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's what it is. So we're renewing our minds constantly. And one of the ways we do it is with affirmations like we just said. I am this, I am that. This is the truth for me. And I've talked many times about how I believe everything's out there, and what we're doing is picking out the thing that we're going to put our attention on. And that's the way we bring it into our lives. And so what this guy is saying is that if you have a positive attitude about what you're doing, it releases hormones that are necessary to create the new neural pathway. So it's not just like, I always think of even though like I said about the herbal medicine, even though I know that this unity stuff works, a lot of times I think it's just sort of a metaphor and it's kind of working by accident. But it turns out it's really true. It's actually happening. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm not going to talk much about what's happening right now, but we know it's a big mess. And I think that if we all, if we have this, what do you call it, the consciousness, the shared consciousness, what's that called?
It's called
Collective consciousness.
Collective.
So we believe that we all are conscious beings and that, and some of us more than others, believe that there's a power that goes out from us, an energy that goes out from us, sometimes from right here. And we can use that to collectively create something, right? In fact, we do use that to collectively create something, and we have done that to collectively create something. So we have collectively created something that's a big mess, right?
Yeah.
So let us think about, so this year, did you make any New Year's resolutions?
I make
Kind of, yeah.
resolutions.
I do little weekly goals, basically little practices that I want to do. Like I want to meditate 6 times, and I want to do 5 vocal lessons, and I want to, dance for 10 minutes 5 times. Those kinds of things. But I haven't really made any big. I kind of feel like I've already done what I need to do. I want to maintain my health and my relationships and all of that stuff. But there's nothing really big that I have to do anymore, I did like years ago, I was divorced, alone, in my 30s, want to have a baby, just like kind of at the bottom of the heap. And And I was going to Unity. I started going to Unity in 85, and this was about 89. So I already had kind of my foundational beliefs. And so I started really using them. You know, I famously made a list of what kind of husband I wanted. I thought about where I'd like to live. You know, I thought about what kind of work I'd like to do. And I manifested all of those things. Here's the husband. It's pretty good. He did pretty good. He's good, yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
you
voted for that.
needed a beard or something, right?
Not a beard. He needed glasses.
Oh.
That was the only thing that wasn't on the list, and now he has them. So he's perfect.
His eyesight.
And I have a beautiful daughter and friends and all of that stuff. So all of that stuff's been happening, along. So I thought, well, what if this year I worked at doing my part to clean up the mess? And if you know anything about manifesting, it can't be, I don't want it this way, right? That just doesn't work. Because the more attention you put on it, the more you get. So if we don't want the mess, we will get more mess. The universe just hears mess, so we get more mess. So what we want is the place that we want, the mindset, the justice, the empathy, the compassion, the cooperation, all of those things. And there's specific things too that, different people of different political persuasions will think they want this or they want that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the basis that we want. And the way that we treat each other in this room right now, that's what I want everywhere. I want everybody to be welcoming, to be interested in others, to be compassionate and generous and loving and all of those things, right? So that's what I want to change. I want to change this pessimistic, it's going to be like this for however many more years, and then it's going to take a generation. No, we don't have to buy into that. So here, we've talked about this before, and I think this is exactly the same. Remember when I gave you this little thing? Okay. So this, I believe, is exactly the same website that I used before, but it's really good, and it's 5 ways to boost our happy hormones so that we can rewire our brains. So here they are. Building new circuits takes a lot of repetition. So pick a new happy habit and start repeating it. This is for people who have Parkinson's disease. Over and over until your new habit feels as natural as your old ones, and start enjoying feeling happy. I think we're going to have to do the happiness first before we manifest it, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to do this. Okay. So dopamine is triggered when you do something well. Make sure you regularly incorporate things you enjoy and do well. A lot of times I put off those things that I enjoy until I get the crappy stuff done, the stuff that you have to do. And so by the time I do the stuff I like to do, I'm tired. Or I've procrastinated doing the stuff I don't want to do, and so I don't do anything. So put some, if you like art or music or walking in, in the woods or whatever, you put some of that in there every day. Another way to release dopamine is to do something kind for someone. Volunteering on a regular basis will also give you a regular hit of dopamine that will help you feel good. So there are a few ways you can naturally increase your levels of serotonin. Getting out into the sunlight. Everybody feels better on a sunny day. Work on developing your belief in your own worth. We have a prayer partners every week that we do on Zoom. And my prayer last week was just, I just want to feel like I'm doing okay. You know, like I'm kind of retired now. I only work a little bit. And so my life is still worth living. You know, I'm still doing stuff, getting stuff done. I'm taking care of him. I'm taking care of my dog. I've got my house looks great. And so there's no reason for me to feel like I'm not worthy. And there's no reason for you to feel that way either. You're just fine. You know, it's okay. You're okay. Everyone has wins and losses. Isn't that true? If you focus on your losses, you will depress your serotonin. Build a habit of focusing on your wins. I remember one time, one of the first prosperity teachers I had did this little exercise, and you might like to do it at home or here. Think about a time when you felt on top of the world. And at the time, it was a performance I did. It was my first solo dance performance. And I just nailed that thing down to the floor. I mean, it was incredible. And the way I felt while I was dancing and the way I felt after I was finished was just amazing. So I focused on that. And then you think about what it is you want to do. But you remember that. Don't forget that time when you were just the best. When we decide what we want the world to be, and we do these practices that increase our optimism, then I think things will change. I don't see why not. One of the things that I really want to tout is singing together. Singing together is one of the strongest ways to feel connected and to feel joy. And unfortunately, nowadays, if you're in a little tiny room singing together, you might get the flu. The last time I met with the Hildy girls, we had this big 25th anniversary, and we sang right into each other's faces in a very loving way, making eye contact, and like 14 of us got the flu, really bad flu. So maybe you don't want to do that.
I was thinking that.
But there's this thing that they're doing right now in Minneapolis, and it's called Singing Resistance. And there are 3 songs that I've heard them do that are just wonderful. I'm not going to sing them, but I'm going to direct you to them. They're really gorgeous. One of them is the lyrics. I'm going to tell you the lyrics though. One of them is, "We are here with our city. Our love for each other will carry us through." Can you imagine a big crowd of people walking down the street singing that? Oh my gosh. We are here with our city. Our love for each other will carry us through. And there's one that goes, "It's okay to change your mind. Show us your courage. Leave this behind." And then the one that I love the most is, maybe I will play with that. It goes, "Hold on," and it's got like 5 harmony parts. It's just amazing. Hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn.
Here comes what?
the dawn.
Okay.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
And I just, makes me tear up, because it's just so, there's nothing violent, there's nothing offensive to anybody. It's just talking about love, you know? So what do we want? So think about that for a second. So if there's one thing in this whole wide world that you would like to have different today, like if you could just, I always think about if my superpower was just to change everything, what would the thing be that you would change today?
You want us to say it out loud?
Yeah.
No more guns.
No more guns. I have so fantasized about that. No more guns. What else?
No more judgment.
What? Say more about that.
No more judgment.
Yeah, say more.
Especially other people,
Yeah.
their behavior, it
Yeah.
really doesn't affect you. Or it
Right.
may affect you, but it doesn't need to control you.
Yes. So just like acceptance.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Great, great,
Acceptance. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know, that I have two wolves that live inside me. And one of them thinks that if the rest of the world would just do what I say, we'd all be fine.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about dualism.
Yes.
Richard Ward talks about.
Yes.
And I was thinking about the Super Bowl,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not real big on football. I didn't even know there was a Super Bowl until the other day, until I texted you.
Right.
And I was thinking about how it's a fight,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But it's good when it ends, when the
Yes.
Super Bowl ends, and
Yeah.
they can shake hands. Well,
Yeah.
some of them,
Yeah.
shake
Yeah.
hands, and the coaches come and talk to each other.
Yeah.
And a good coach will not see that other coach as an enemy,
Right.
you know?
Yes.
And that's what I've been really working on and wishing for,
Yes.
is that let's get together,
Right.
you know? 'Cause
Right.
nothing's going to change until we have a collective
Yeah.
of people who are focused
Right.
on, you know, love and kindness, good,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. I work at a little Episcopal church, and they call it dominance culture. Dominance culture. Because if you have dualism, you have a better and a worse. You
Yeah,
know?
right.
From your point of view.
Right, yeah. It's like now we're enemies.
Yes.
The enemy, you know.
I was thinking about football the other day. We have quite a bit of football in our home. And what I was thinking about was they trade people really fast these days. So a lot of the players that are shaking hands at the end of the game have played together on the same team. And even more of them, the same NFL team, even more of them have played together in college. And the coaches, that's their business. That's their job.
That's your job.
Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, I've thought a lot about the end of dominance, and that would involve not judging who's better and who's worse.
Right.
And that, you know, I think the neat thing about Western culture is that we have law. And so you're not better or worse, you just have broken the law or you have not broken the law, you know? And if you've broken the law, you get punished and you go on with, you know, your life. So that would be a nice thing, you know?
Sure will,
Accountability. Accountability, that's a good word. So accountability, acceptance, what do we want to, unity.
yeah, unity.
A lack of
Unity.
division would be unity, wouldn't it?
Right.
Anything else?
Collective unity.
Yeah, collective unity. Yeah. Well, you know, if we look at, let's say, Scandinavian culture, they're unified. They still have some, you know, racism and stuff like that. But they work together. They want to use their money to better everybody. Somebody said, somebody from Norway said, you know, the way it works here is it's not that we, how did they put it? It's not that we, they said a lot of people think that you can't get rich here. You know, we have rich people. It's not that we limit the ceiling, it's that we raise the floor so that everybody has what they need.
Yes.
Yeah. So think about these things, and the things that you can do to bring these forth. You may, when you meditate, you may find so I've been meditating regularly. I've done this before in my life. This is the second time I've done it in who knows, 40 years or something like that. So I'm meditating, and I do these little 10-minute meditations that I find on YouTube that are from the Calm app. And so it's 10 minutes, and it's very calm, and she's talking about stuff like letting go and, you know, releasing anxiety and all of those things. And at the end of it, I either just feel great or I have an idea. And so those ideas will come to you, and when they do them. Just do them. Because 9 times out of 10, it's got to be something that you do for someone else, which is going to release oxytocin and help you change the world, the whole wide world. We're it, you know.
Yes.
We're the ones we're waiting for.
Yes.
We really are. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.